Hey Nation, I'm Rob Cabrera, designer and director of the Double Star Edge Weapons Division. We're very well known for making AR-15s and 1911s, but what you may not know is that we're manufacturers of edge weapons and breaching tools right here in the good old US of A. So I would like to welcome you all to our facility here in Winchester, Kentucky. So come on, where we design, manufacture, pack, and ship all of our American-made products to you. Hey Lisa.
Hi Rob, how are you?
Good, can I get a Drakon?
Yeah. There you are.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay guys, let's go ahead and head upstairs and get this thing together. Okay, welcome to the shop. Let's go ahead and get this unboxed. Okay, in your Drakon assembly, you're going to have our disclaimer, the Drakon blade, Tek-Lok assembly, and your sheath. So let's talk about each one of these individually. Included in your Drakon kit are the following items: 0.08 thick Kydex sheath with 0.75 spacing on the rivets to assure connection with most attachment systems. Your Tek-Lok attachment system provided by Blade Tech, in which we have the actual attachment system itself, tall and short screws, rubber grommets, tall and short standoffs, and belt width adjustment. And here we have the Drakon blade, constructed of 1/4 inch thick 1095 carbon steel that has been CNC milled. This blade weighs 6.6 ounces. It's 8 1/4 inches long and 1 5/8 inches wide, providing a 1 inch wide ring for retention, triple scallops for devastation on cuts, and swept point for good drive-through shots and stabbing. Okay, let's go ahead and get into our assembly now. The holes in the Tek-Lok are 3/4 of an inch apart, each one. So that would mean that from this hole to this hole is 3/4 of an inch, and from this hole to this hole is 1.5 inches. These holes correspond to the series of holes here on the sheath as far up as this singular hole here. So this will give you the option of doing a mount that included 1, 2, 3 locations, or 1, 2, 3 locations. So first thing we have to do is put our belt spacers in place like this. Then, depending on whether we're going to want to hold the knife in a vertical or horizontal position would depend on how we put the screws and the standoffs in place. So for now, we're going to go ahead and work with a vertical position. So I would insert my standoff through this face portion of the Tek-Lok, place a grommet over top to hold the standoff in place, and then repeat that. Now we have our posts in place to accept the sheath. So from here we'll go ahead and close the sheath, and then using the patented locking mechanism by Blade Tech, lock this in place. You would then drive your belt through here and run it through, and that would give you the location that you would want. Now, we have the 2 posts in place. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and feed the rivets through the standoffs. Then, taking your screws, put them in place, using a screwdriver, tighten one. You can use either short or long screws. It depends on how you're sitting, what position you're in. So now you've attached your Tek-Lok in a vertical position to accept the blade. Now you have your blade in a vertical position on your Tek-Lok. One of the things you want to take into consideration when you're attaching it to your belt is whether you want to run the top section of your Tek-Lok over your belt or whether you're going to want to run it under your belt to close it and lock it. That's personal preference. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do a horizontal attachment for your Tek-Lok. We're going to follow through the same steps, just kind of roll through it. So attach your belt spacers, just like before, okay? But the difference now is going to be we want our blade to sit horizontally, okay? So what that means is when we install our posts, we're not going to run them vertically along the length of the Tek-Lok. We're going to run them across. So you would take your grommets, put them over your posts like this. Okay? So now what you have is rather than having them running long ways, you have them running across the Tek-Lok. Okay? Then, now you have options in spacing. You can space also, and we'll go ahead and do one now, for a third location in case you need it. Okay, we're not going to get into the reasons why, we're just going to give it as an option. So, these locations coincide with these holes that are with the Tek-Lok and on the sheath. So we'll go ahead and get the screws in. Okay, so now what we have is we have a horizontal setup for your Tek-Lok. So it would attach, the belt would run horizontally and your blade would match. Okay guys, what we're going to talk about now is how to adjust the retention between your sheath and your blade. From manufacturing, we send these blades with very, very high retention because you do, with a blade that has this many scallops, you don't want it getting loose on your person while you're moving or if you're in a tussle or whatever you're doing. So we put a lot of retention on this sheath to make sure that the blade doesn't come out of it. We leave the adjusting of that up to your discretion and what you personally would like to have in the way of retention. Please keep in mind that doing the retention on Kydex, you want to kind of treat it like a haircut. You can take it off, but you can't put it back on. So with the amount that you take away, you want to do it with a certain amount of discretion. So here's the fastest and quickest way to do it. So you would hold your sheath in your left hand. All of the retention on this sheath is right here in the ring area. That's where we hang on to it. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the butt end of your blade right here at the pommel area and you're very slowly going to press into that region. Just kind of push it just a little bit and do it lightly, and what you'll notice is you begin to adjust the amount of retention, and it has to be to where you can get it out fairly easy and get it in fairly easy. So the more you use this 1/4-inch thick piece of steel to kind of press inside of here, it'll begin to open the kydex and make it easier. See, I've already loosened it up as it is quite a bit. Just with the little bit of adjustment that I've given it now, it's smoothed it out quite a bit. And that is how to adjust the retention on your Drakon. Okay, Nation, thanks. We appreciate you joining us here. Keep an eye out for the next upcoming videos, rigging and carrying your Drakon. If you don't have a Drakon and you want to get your hands on one, visit us at www.star15.com. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Rob, and keep it locked up.